Life and Times of Troy Hendricks podcast.
Yes, sir.
We had to do it again.
We back.
Definitely, man. To my right, you see I got Big Troy.
Yes, sir.
I'm Hendricks, man. Last episode, we had to touch on Honestly Nevermind by Drake. Also,
Starting to heat up. He gave us something we definitely needed for the summer.
he also we also touched on Detroit house music and the house scene.
Great history.
And I gotta touch back on that because went to Spotlight last night. Got a chance to
Set
see.
the scene for us because I wasn't there.
Man, so you know at Spotlight they do First Fridays, and they got a great talent. A guy by the name of Don Glover, goes by Don Light if I'm not mistaken. Um, I'll make sure that on the video I get all his credentials right, so we can definitely shout him out the right way. But you know, I'm kind of used to most of his parties. He kind of like, you know, it's most of a groove. You know, as far as playing R&B. But at 1 o'clock, man, he really showed that, you know, house is really what he does. He took it back. He was really controlling the vibe. He did a great job of starting with Beyonce Break My Soul, and then he went straight into Drake Calling My Name. And he jumped in there the right part. His MC was definitely controlling the crowd and making sure he had good engagement. So
It's funny with this Drake album because I'm starting to see a lot of people turn the corner on it,
oh yeah.
but I'm even starting to see it make its rounds on TikTok,
Oh, man.
Instagram. So definitely Sticky is getting play. Calling my name,
Yeah.
Keeper. I've been seeing that, and then of course the one song that
Massive.
wasn't really house. Jimmy Crooks
Yeah.
has been making his way as well because I guess Aubrey was definitely onto something.
But I just wanted to give that guy that shout out, Don Glover, man. You definitely did your thing last night.
Let's get into this episode. What we got?
Man,
Shot her around the world. We know who definitely did that.
well, first thing we probably need to start with is you know, NBA free agency.
NBA free agent.
I mean, because you know, you got to take this over because it's almost baffling some of the shit that we've heard with this free agency.
We're going to end with a topic because it's going to be a hell of a segue.
But it was just crazy going into free agency. I thought that we would only have to deal with maybe like, okay, we knew that the Kyrie drama was gonna be there, and I'm thinking we was gonna have to deal with, okay, like Jalen Brunson signed there somewhere. But you got to really set the scene, man.
Well,
what in the hell is going on with NBA free agency?
So at first we thought we was only going to have the only Nets drama we was going to have with Kyrie. You know, I've been critical of him. We see it was really no trade market for him.
Yeah.
Nets called his bluff, and he had to opt in. And we thought that would be the end of his drama. They're running it back.
I think Kyrie had Indiana, Detroit, and Sacramento, and none of them wanted him.
Yeah, those are the only teams that could offer him outright. But he gave them a list of people he wanted to do a sign and trade for, and they kind of was like, I'm good. Only team interested was the Lakers, and, you know, not to get too technical. We won't be too technical on this podcast. They would have to take Russell Westbrook back, and the Nets was just like, no, I'm good. So going that, we thought that was going to be the only drama we dealing with. Next thing you know, Kevin Durant makes a trade demand. The Kevin Durant who left the Warriors because he wanted his own situation. And what's ironic is you're giving the keys to Brooklyn, and the top two teams this guy chose to go to.
Cut the beat off, Trev.
Phoenix and Miami.
What?
The two number one seeds in their conference. So not only you came to Brooklyn to correct that decision you made, and then you're going to do it all over 3 years later? Seriously?
This is not honorable, man. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a KD fan. We're talking about one of the best offensive players that this league has ever seen or will ever see. But you know, there's certain things that you like are going to be judged on that are intangibles, and one of those things are professionalism and maturity and how you deal with adversity, man. I feel for this guy to just be as great as a talent as he was. The first knock was like, oh, you shouldn't jump from one team. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't go to Golden State. But he went to Golden State and he won. So I'm not gonna knock him for that. But you come to Brooklyn, they give you I mean, you get your boy Kyrie, and then on top of that, they pull off James Harden. And yeah, it's been unfortunate, but you want to leave, and then on top of that, you want to go to either Phoenix or Miami. Like, what? I can't even respect that.
I think like was just more annoying to me, and I'm all about player empowerment. And we've been on some text messages, threads. This dates back to LeBron. The players want to take uh, the power into their own hands, decide their situations.
Yeah,
But they were doing that with shorter deals. One thing I would say about LeBron is he was holding franchise hostage by just taking like a short deal. Like he went to Cleveland and said, "I'll do a 1+1."
right.
Durant did that with the Warriors. "I'll do a 1+1." Now you got guys dating back to the Anthony Davis,
Yeah,
Paul George. It was, we at least trade you with a year left. Then Ben Simmons wiggles his way out with 4 years left.
wow.
James Harden, they swap each other for their problems. But Durant, you signed last year and your extension kicks in this year. 4 years, 198 million.
Wow.
And this is a business. End of the day, guys can be like, well, owners can trade you. They signed up to participate in a business. And the Nets have did everything to accommodate you.
Yeah,
And you don't think you owe them to play out your contract or not even give it a try. Your homeboy held the team hostage and blew up last season. Kyrie, look,
I feel bad what they doing to him, man. They compare him to Terrell Owens now.
he's team obliterator. Because my thing is this, man,
Wow.
and I talked about this yesterday. You're paid to play basketball. It is a job. Work done, all type of guys are doing activist work. You don't have to do your activist work during the season. Now, look, you decided to say that you wanted to, you wanted to die on the vaccine hill and be the go-to poster boy for the vaccine. You wanted to be a voice for the voiceless, Kyrie.
Man.
And this team has a right to say, I'm not going to pay you unless you play basketball. Because even when you were healthy, you're sitting out doing 2-week hiatuses. We can't hear from you. Talking about you have the right to do what you want, and they have the right to not extend you. But just going back to Durant,
Yeah.
they've given you everything you wanted. And the crazy thing is, you have a good team if you just run it back. Brooklyn doesn't have to accommodate you and send you somewhere. And if they send you somewhere, they're going to want something in significance in return.
Let's just look. But you brought up a point. You said if they were to run it back, that they have a pretty good team. What's the one guy, Joey?
They're bringing back
Joe Harris.
There have Ben Simmons, who, as much as he is, he's emotional too. He's a talent. Nick Claxton is back. Seth Curry. Patty Mills just resigned. You just traded for Royce O'Neal. You have a better chance of winning the championship with the team you're on.
Yeah.
And what is annoying me with these guys is they're just skipping and running past the grind. Look, I don't like I got to bring them up. But the Warriors missed the playoffs. Steph went and played with his team. And this year, he was rewarded with continuity.
Yeah. Chemistry.
We don't even know if y'all are good because y'all can't even get on the court
They
together.
only had 17 games with each other between the three of them.
Thank you. And then Kyrie played 29 games last year.
Yeah.
And Durant, you were injured. So, dude, I just don't get it. I'm out of words, but like I say, it's a real bad look. And my only thing is, and I'm going to be done with this Durant topic after this, these players really need to be careful of what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're about to mess up a good thing. We're going to get into some of these signings.
Yeah.
But last year, they call it BRI, basketball-related income. The league made about $8.6 billion last year. That's why you're seeing these crazy contracts. One thing about these owners, man, they are not going to want to keep getting shown up. That Ben Simmons situation looks bad. James Harden looked worse because you forced yourself out of two situations. And now Kevin Durant, you're saying I don't have to honor a 4-year contract?
for 200.
Man,
But
they'll
we
mess around and we hit a lockout. And they have the money to wait you guys out. They don't like being showed up, man. Y'all better look at the bigger picture because y'all superstars. Y'all don't care, but it's about the other guys who don't get those big endorsements and can afford to sit out. And I don't know if you can really afford to sit out and miss a whole season.
yeah. Well, let's talk about those other signings though, man. I think the guy who had probably the biggest one was Jokic, the Joker.
270 million.
Hey man, talk about that real quick. He got 5 years, 264 million. Just talk about real quick, like as far as the work that he's put in. We talking about somebody that we're gonna talk about two players that I feel they've earned the bag that they've got. Jokic for sure has earned his bag.
Just a model of professionalism. Then run from the grind, played, missing his roster, dealing with injuries, and a constant professional. We just do a quick fire sale on some of these signings, and then we'll talk about it with broad. You have Bradley Beal, 5 years, 250 million. Ja Morant, 5 years, 193 million, 231 with incentives.
Man.
Zion Williams, 5 year, 193 million. Zach LaVine, 5 years, 215 million. You have some other contracts in there as well.
GP2.
Yeah, the Warriors lost about
Man.
3 of their, actually 4 players, 2 of their rotation players in GP2 going to Portland.
Good way to go get that bag.
He went and got his bag, almost 7 million. Otto Porter going to Toronto. Juan Toscano Anderson going to your Lakers. Hey, that's y'all big signing. And Steph's brother-in-law is going to Phoenix. And they lost Bielitsa. He's going back overseas. But they did pick up Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh, that's a good pickup.
Yeah, the Warriors, people are like, what are they doing? You got to think 3 of their best, they're their rookies who have talent, didn't play in the finals. So that's their free agency. Getting Kuminga, Moody, and James Wiseman back into the fold and putting them into the rotation. So that's going to be those guys. But that's your big free agency moves.
Oh, no, it's not.
We missed out on one.
Oh, no, it is not. We definitely going to talk about this one.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh, we missed out on another one. But yeah, Rudy Gobert
traded to Minnesota. Now, I don't know. Minnesota, they acquire a talent. You acquire a 3-time defensive player of the year. I don't know if this pushed you closer.
That does nothing for them. I think that actually makes them worse.
Yeah, you're playing 2 bigs in 2022. I'm not sure how that affects your franchise. And you're looking at what they gave up, 4 first-round picks and a pick swap.
And Karl Anthony Towns, let's just be honest.
Yeah, he read up too.
From
214 million.
Well deserved.
Booker.
Ain't knocking them. But it's as far as you got Rudy Gobert that's it's gonna clog up the paint. I'm just talking about from an offensive standpoint. I've watched Karl Anthony Towns, just like everybody else has. Never really looked comfortable at the 4. I haven't really seen him play much of the 4. So I just don't understand that. But we had to switch the beat. Had to get a little serious because I think the most shocking news that came from NBA free agency really had nothing to do with it. It was just the extreme
about to get a contract.
the extreme fuck up that was made. And I'm gonna let you take it, man. Miles Bridges definitely messes up on at least $80 million of guaranteed money. That was just me dropping it, man. But go ahead, man. Talk to the people.
Drop the beat down for me a little bit. Yeah, we wrap up our free agency coverage. Like I said, we don't know what's going to happen with Kevin Durant. Salute to those guys that got their bag. But, guys, really just be careful. And I just want to see players be more professional. But on another note, on the eve of free agency, man, we saw that Miles Bridges got into a domestic violence situation with his wife. At first, it was just related as a woman on in L.A., but then it came out the details. His wife went and released the pictures, and you saw various bruises, scratches, and marks on her.
Yeah.
You saw his son. I think the act happened in front of his children. And what it just shows me is, I normally could say and go, you fumbled the bag,
Yeah,
but I don't even want to go that far either because we know he did fumble the bag. But the fact that you did that to your wife and a woman, you put hands on her and you really kind of blew up your career
yeah.
the day before you blew up the biggest day of your career. And it's just kind of, it's just sad. It's a tragic situation when you look at it from all sides. I don't want to focus too much on the contract and the money he missed out on because he kind of pretty much had two suitors and wanting to go back home. He's from the Flint area, so he's kind of looking at going and play with the Pistons. And then you had the option as well of Charlotte had the right to offer him, and they would have to have their contract matched. Not to get into the much of the mumbo jumbo of the details, but as this Charlotte puts a number out, a team can go out and exceed that number, and then Charlotte would have had the right to match it if they wanted to.
But Charlotte just pulled
They pulled
theirs.
that offer
So
with the news of with the details of this situation and with the news of this dropping of him being arrested. I think he's bonded out or whatever, but
yeah.
it's just really unfortunate and sad. I think he's only like 23, 24 years old. And you just see this happen. You kind of, some people could say they could saw the signs coming.
Mm.
Um, not this, not to be ignorant, but he does rap on the side. So they was just saying they didn't know if he was all in on being a basketball player. Um, there were accusations of him drinking lean on Instagram. And so a lot of this is just, you know, it just
It's
a
just
big
immaturity.
yeah,
Immaturity, and
yeah.
it's. I mean, and I'll jump in here, but just we were talking off air about like where we were at in life, where when I was 22 and when you were 22, definitely in two different spectrums.
I mean, just even the fact when I was 24, like I said, I don't know how old he is. I don't have the details, but that's why I said one, being married that young, but
Yeah,
two, like even outside of that, just not having the control to do what you need to do. This is your livelihood, and you just fumbled that. And like I say, it sucks. Like in a situation like this, I just hope the woman gets justice. I hope the children can probably be able to move past this, and I just hope he gets help. Like I don't know what's gonna happen to him. I'm not wishing the end of his career, but end of the day, I just want him to get help.
yeah.
And this is just gonna serve as a cautionary tale. You will be able to go out and tell this to many children. This guy was literally 24 hours away from being offered money that was probably set him up and his family for life.
Generations, and that's just why it's. Of course, the victim.
Hmm.
I mean, even though we talking about him, but let's just be clear. We're only talking about this guy because this is who we know. This is the person that's in the media. But of course, number one, the hearts and everything go out to the victim. So you're right about that. But as a man, not trying to, I'm just resonating with the whole man part of it. If I was a man and I was 24 hours away and this came out, like, I just be honest with you, you might have to put me in a straitjacket.
Man,
You
I'm
would have
going
to.
somewhere.
Like,
There's no access to no phone,
yeah,
no
I don't want to,
privacy.
just, I couldn't even imagine being in his shoes. So,
I'm probably renting out like a cruise ship or a
man,
yacht and going to sea.
and
And just people in my circle.
that's just where it's so unfortunate because you would have thought that, like, you just, we always say don't mess up the bag, but what we're gonna talk about and what I'll just say is you got to be mindful of a woman scorn, because the fact that she got her mind made up to the point to where she didn't even care about the money.
Yeah, some people would have probably said,
This is his
"That's good to
wife.
the
Just
bad."
so we all understand, this is his wife. This is his wife. So she understands that, like, what mine's is yours for sure. She didn't care about any of that. She got to a point to where she was just like, "F it. This is what we gonna do." So it has to be brought up because we have to raise awareness, man. We always talking about the good things. We don't talk about the fuck ups on here to ostracize anybody, but You got to know how to move, and you got to have that perspective. So
That's one thing I tell my sons,
yeah,
both of them, is control your emotions, control the situation, um, know who you are, and know what you're capable of. And like I said, he's going to probably think about this for the rest of his life.
for sure.
Times are different now, and like I said, we're going to get into it, because he's been a topic of discussion. But even as big as Chris Brown's career is now,
Yeah,
look at how much has been affected for something that happened 13 years ago.
and,
He was on his way to probably superstar.
Michael Jackson status for real.
Yeah, we don't know. The sky was the limit for
I
him.
mean, but
But
before that, and I'm glad that we talking about Chris Brown. But before, he did run into that incident with Rihanna. As far as his sponsors, as far as the type of music that he was doing, he was really at the top of his game. And I mean, yes, he's made great strides to still be progressive and still be breezy.
yeah,
Shout out to the '89 babies, but his career was tremendously affected by by a
yeah,
domestic
domestic
violence
violence. Yeah,
dispute.
it's like I said, just another thing of just controlling yourself. And I'm not saying here I'm perfect. None of us are, but this is why you have to just be aware of who you are,
Yeah,
knowing where you stand in your life,
we
and
talked about
knowing
that.
what you do. What those two guys did affect their livelihood on a broader scale. And the crazy thing is, Chris Brown got more forgiveness. It's even more strict now. A
Yeah.
lot of guys aren't dealing, there's no sympathy for any of these guys. Look, R. Kelly just got 30 years
30 ball.
and he was told good riddance, and he should. And to you clowns all out there, oh, why so and so get 20? It's a movie on Elvis. Man, I don't want to hear
He went to
that.
jail for coming up with a scheme to lure underage children. I'm not trying to discredit the man. I mean, the system is already dealing with him. He still got two more cases that he gotta deal with. But I just want, but before we get to, and his music is still his music. I think that now because of this verdict, if people want to listen to R. Kelly, okay now,
Yeah.
because his art is his art. But come on, man, don't get it twisted. I mean, I've sat in barbershops where guys were like, man, just back in that time, like, 28-year-olds was messing with 16-year-olds. That what how does that's even it still don't sound right regardless.
It goes back to
Like
what I
where's
think.
the morality and
Thank
everything?
you. That's what I'm just saying. I'm just going back to where you cats morals, and that just ties into everything with the Miles Bridges. You let your morals get compromised,
Yeah.
and you cross the line. R. Kelly, look, bro, you was just way gone, and the cats that was out there aiding in it, knowing of this stuff,
They need
and
to
we
fry
just swept
too.
it under. Yeah, y'all need those too, but they got the big dog, and hopefully other things come. But segueing from still staying on the music thing,
Yeah.
it's been a crazy week since Versus was a week ago, and one thing you've seen, it's kind of been a rough week for live performances for singers. You saw that with Ray J going up there. And then what's funny was a few days later, him and Bobby V was trying to sing together on Instagram.
It
Still
still
looking
didn't work.
terrible. You saw Giveon at the BET Awards.
Do you ever think
Said he couldn't hear himself. Yeah. And then I think even Neo had a slip up.
Do you ever think
Neo had a slip up on Good Morning America. This guy. I can't take him serious. But all in all, you got those guys doing it. And, we about to get into our debate.
the king?
But the GOAT,
Man.
one of the GOATs came.
Usher,
and
baby.
saved R&B. And Sammy talked about it.
ATR.
But it was just refreshing.
YMOND. My fault, man.
This guy, man. But it was just refreshing to see someone be professional, go out and sing. And in the words of Sammy, something done clicked and people's ears start working again.
Wow.
We want to see the tracks match the live performance. And just shout out to Usher, man. He was just out there so effortless and cool. I thought it was amazing. You know, I'm
Great.
gonna get into your thoughts of it.
Tiny Desk
But I thought
performance. How you feel about it?
Man, I just thought it was amazing. It was clean. He gave Eric Bellinger and Vito their flowers. They sang background for him, and it was just good to see an OG in the game just really go out there and handle his business.
The Tiny Desk. It was all right. I'm gonna try to be unbiased, man, for a second. The Tiny Desk was good. I mean, Usher got hits, man. So all he got to do, he got songs like he said, "My Way," celebrating 25 years, man. Certain songs when they get played, he ain't even got to say nothing. But very professional, very composed, but not so fast. I'm gonna give the Tiny Desk a 6 out of 10.
This guy,
I feel like yes, the superstar where he did the super
zagging,
where,
zagging.
where he did the superstar run right there at the beginning. I think that was flawless. I think that was great that he did it. But I'm a Rihanna fan, guys, and the reason why I'm a Rihanna fan is because all of these people that go for Beyonce, man, every time Beyonce get the performance, she's slowing down the beats, she changing the original tune of the song to help her be able to sing it better. That and I'll take whatever criticism, but I felt like that's what Usher did last night. I mean, did
But
for
it
the
was
Tiny Desk.
It wasn't a
But
concert. Tiny Desk is
I
always
get
a more
that.
laid back, chill
I get
feel.
that, but a
'Cause it's
lot of
live
those
instruments.
a
It's
lot
live
of those
instruments.
and the reason why I was watching Trey Songz a long time ago, but he would try to sing live and he would always make sure he sung slower so that he could really get the runs off, because if he sung it at the regular speed, he wouldn't be able to do it. And I think that's why I give it a 6, because if he would have been singing those songs like in real time, he wouldn't have been able to hit those notes, and I just don't think he would have sounded that good, if we're going to be perfectly
Well,
honest.
people that went to his concerts, they said, or went saw him in Vegas or seen him at the Lovers and Friends this year. He had a good performance at the Summer in the Water Festival in Virginia. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't get it twisted.
He's a professional. I mean, and that's why I want to talk about, like, because you told me the one concert that he did. I forgot that you told me to watch.
Something in the water.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong, that was a great concert, but he wasn't doing anything crazy. He was still playing it safe with his harmonies and with his tunes.
Let's lay the field. Let's lay the set the table for him, because I went on there and I'm on Instagram, and you just saw Usher getting his flowers. You
Yeah.
see Sammy calling him the GOAT, Tank, GOAT emoji, Mario, GOAT emoji, Usher P, GOAT emoji, Monica, fire, flames.
Yeah.
You just saw everyone in the industry giving him his flowers. And then the other
Well
biggest
deserved.
compliment that I saw, which is crazy, but they said the only man that can probably beat him just got 30 years.
Not so fast.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what people are saying.
Yeah.
Now, you think otherwise, which is crazy to me.
I definitely think.
Because it's been set in the table, and people have been talking rumblings, definitely since we saw Armarion versus Mario, that the next verses that they will want to see is Usher versus Chris Brown.
They don't want to do that, man. Chris Brown would make it very tough for anybody, even Usher. It's too much, man. The catalog, the dancing, the performing. Y'all wouldn't want to do that.
Chris can't sing
Uh, do-
live. He can't sing live. I would say that he can't sing live.
I think
Come on,
he'll
we
do
went to-
he'll do just
We went
enough.
to his concerts. Now look, his concerts are nice. He's dancing.
I think
He's mixing in vocals with the track. But because look, I'm let's not get it confused. You can't dance the way he is and then expect him to sing
right.
on
That's why
those
it's
tracks.
right.
But like I say now, what we've been seeing with verses,
Yeah.
because you can have the songs. Like, let's be real. Dipset had the better catalog than the Locks.
Yeah.
Jada went and just performed with precision. Omarion, let's be honest, he has a way better catalog than Mario.
Yeah.
Mario probably has 5, 6, 7 songs that we know. He really only had those first
He
3
beat
albums.
they said he beat Omarion off B-sides, bro.
Yes, he was getting points for songs that
Yeah.
people didn't even new songs. Most times people play new songs and verses and lose. and that's because he just sang. And all I'm saying is, we saw Usher sing live. If it turns into that, not only do he, not only can Usher can sing, but he also has the catalog.
For sure.
And that's all I'm saying. Like, the problem with these two is kind of the difference between, like, if you was to put someone up against Michael Jackson, then it's like, all right, R. Kelly can't really go against Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
All right, Usher really can't go against R. Kelly because the gaps are just too big. And then it's like Chris
Chris
Brown
Brown really
really
can't
can't
go
go
against
against Usher.
Usher.
And then Trey Songz or Neo really can't go against Chris Brown because, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The gaps are just different
Well, Trey
at the
Songz and,
R&B level.
and Chris Brown, they actually did come out around the same time, but it was,
I
I
think it's
mean, he would
closer.
get,
I think it's closer than people would think
he would
between
get,
Trey
but
Songz and them.
he would get totally
I
outclassed.
just played a playlist today, and let's be real. When we was in college,
Oh no,
from
Trey has some, yeah,
2007 to
yeah.
2011, man.
No, Trey.
So that anticipation,
Hey, shout out to my
already.
cousin. Hey, shout out to my cousin John, man. Shout out to Goodfellas Security, man. Definitely. Remember going up to UAD, he definitely put me on Trey Songz. I knew all of his mixtapes just off my cousin John, man. Had to shout you out,
The
man.
problem with Trey Songz is he likens me to like a, analogy. You would look at how it was like a T Mac Kobe debate.
Yeah,
And Trey was hot because, like I said, he had the mixtapes,
yeah,
but he also had Ready, and he had, what was it? Sex. What is it? Sex, Pain, and Love.
yeah, yeah. Which was a great album.
Penny Dropper.
Yeah.
Neighbors Know My Name. You get what I'm saying? Like, Bottoms Up.
But in the grand scheme of things, like
Yeah,
in his time, he was. I mean, and shoot, even going to Trigger, like don't get like
Trigger
he
was
has
fire.
he has some albums,
2014,
but
Trigger was fire.
in the grand scheme of things, like when you said if he was to go against Chris Brown, it would be he would just get outclassed, man.
I would just say he will probably run out before. But one thing with verses too, and this is just going back to Chris Brown and Usher, you have to not only have the hits, but you have to play the songs at the right time. And also, Usher just damn near got, if he go up against Chris Brown, damn near 10 songs that won't lose.
Yeah,
Like, Chris can go and say, I'm gonna play Deuces or I'm gonna play Run It.
and they're
And
just
if I play Confessions, that's an automatic win.
yeah,
If I play what's another one? Throwback, Let It Burn. You get what I'm saying? He could say, "Oh, I'm gonna do Say Goodbye, Let It Burn."
yeah.
So that's just the thing with Usher, and then Usher even got. We're not even talking about the My Way album, 8701. You remind me.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. People can knock me if they want to, man. Chris is an '89 baby. I'm gonna ride with him, and we'll just see what's gonna happen when Usher stop being scared and he signed the contract and they do the verses. But we getting out of here, man. We're gonna wrap this up. Talk to me, man. Just kind of get the people whatever on the way out, man. Just say something to the people. We on the way out here.
Nah, man, just keep progressing, keep getting better, and just know we thinking about y'all if someone is.
Definitely. We'll wrap this up real quick, man. But we've been doing a lot of talking this week. We've been talking about, getting the stress off of you and making sure that we deal in love. And I was watching the interview. Y'all get a chance. It's like 2.5 hours long, but Math Hoffa, he's got a great channel. He had Fat Joe on there. It was really a lot of good stuff, good jewels for the people. But the one thing that he was talking about was like, he's saying as great as he is in life right now, is because he's showing more love and he's acting out of love. My big bro on Thursday was talking to me about the X-Men, and he was saying at the end of it,
I got the name wrong before you mess it up. It's Eric. Magneto is Eric.
Right. So he was just talking about how at the end of the movie, the professor was telling Magneto that love is more powerful than hate. And we just gonna wrap this podcast up with saying that the best person that you trying to be, or whatever thing it is that you trying to do, you're only going to be able to function at your highest potential if you're being led by love. Life and times, man. We out here.